Yeah.
She's in my quarantine.
Yeah, they're in the same quarantine.
I thought she lived with them.
Well, it depends on the day.
Technically.
All right. Anybody else have art they want to share today before we get started?
Go ahead.
Aunty Louise,
Yes.
I made a no panic, go organic
Oh, you did?
on my driveway.
Oh, yes. Love it.
It'd be fun to see. I don't know if people walk by your house a lot, but they could stop and look at that. Yeah, that'd be good.
No one walks by my house, as you could see.
I drive by your house.
Mine was a little bit farther up, though.
Oh, was it?
It's on Saltzman. It's on Saltzman.
Okay.
It's like 2 streets down.
Guys, I was over at somebody's house picking up some pop cans, and I'm standing out in the yard talking, and I see this kid in a blue shirt walking a little white fuzzy dog. And I looked at him, and I went back, and I went like this. I looked about 2 times, and he was doing the exact same thing, looking at me, and I went, hey!
Yeah. And they also, yeah, I looked, I'm like, who's that lady? I'm like, that lady looks so familiar. I look back, and I'm like, wait, is that the lady? But I didn't want to say anything because.
Is that the lady?
Because then there's been, or I was like, is that Aunty? But there's been like moments where like I've like tried like singing like the song that I've seen on the street, and they're like, no, I don't know who that is. Like, I didn't want to like engage first, but I'm like, wait, that's
the lady. Yeah, I was the lady.
The lady.
I was the lady.
Okay.
That was a surprise. It was good, Nicholas. But Nicholas, I have to admit, I had a brain freeze, and I kept saying, Jeremy, Joshua. I was going through all these names in my head. I thought it started with a J, and it doesn't. It starts with an N.
Yeah.
So I said, hey.
Yeah, I thought that was funny though.
Yeah, my husband said, what's his name? I go, well, I couldn't remember off the cuff. So there you go.
Yeah, and I saw Mr. Williams for the first time.
Yeah. Steve, Uncle Steve, you can call him.
Uncle Steve.
Yeah. I saw him in real life, not virtually.
Yeah.
Oh, Mama, are you guys raising your hand?
Yeah, Mima, what you got?
For my ʻEkolu, last night I tried as best as possible to try to paint it, and so I tried to make 3 ʻEkolu right behind each other, and this is dry land ʻEkolu, so it's not the wetland. And I tried to make a little keiki as the next generation. And then from, I think, last class or 2 classes ago, I tried to draw my fish, and so my salmon.
I love interpretation and how you put the scales in a pattern. That's great. That's great. That's fun to do. That is fun to do.
Oh, you have some, Kalani? Nice.
My ʻEkolu was like a cartoon kind.
Oh.
Got it. With the talk bubble. Love it. Okay, next. Noilani or Mia, one of you.
And then this is Hoku's. Can you
let me do it?
Oh, Hoku's is nice too. Nice job, Hoku.
Good.
And then Noi and Mia, I think.
I made my ʻEkolu also, and I drew it with chalk on our in our patio backyard.
Oh.
Ooh, nice job, Noi.
Oh, Kina's is like an umbrella. I love it.
It's like a rainbow ʻEkolu.
Sophia, go ahead. And then Micah next.
So I also did mine in my front yard.
I love it.
Is that a chalk art?
Yeah, it's pastel. It's like, oh gosh, I just lost the picture.
Mm-hmm.
I can make the screen really dark.
I can see the bulb, and then I can see the
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of easy.
Oh, it's the roots coming out. Nice job.
Yeah.
The shapes is really easy because it's shaped like a heart. And a lot of people can make hearts quite easily.
Yeah.
Okay, Micah, you got something? Thank you, Sophia.
So I was thinking of Jack and the Beanstalk, but instead I did Jack and the Giant Aloe Plant.
Oh, cute. So it's like Jack is going in the giant aloe plant. That's awesome. Super creative, Micah. That's awesome.
Show it again. I'm sorry. I had to get that phone. Go ahead. Show it one more time.
Oh, yeah. Auntie couldn't see it.
I couldn't.
Yeah, Jack and the giant aloe plant.
Oh, that's a good story. That's a good one. I could write that. Okay. All right.
Now you have to write that story for us, Micah.
All right, that's your next assignment.
It's like
Okay.
a Hawaiian.
Yeah. Okay. You want to go ahead and get started?
Yes, I can share the screen.
Aloha, it is Thursday, and I'm coming to you from the kitchen. And we're going to be talking about some foods and hopefully give you an idea for a salad. And I thought, I've always wanted to be on a cooking show. So I thought, well, why not make my own? So I'm going to do that today. So let's go ahead and get started. You know, we're talking about ka Pilina, how we connect. And we've been connecting through stories, and we've been connecting through our families. We've been connecting through food, yum, and connecting to our land and what we know about the land. And we've been expressing ourselves through art to help us remember what all of that means. So ka Pilina, and everybody knows the word kuleana. There's another word you can add to your list of words you can use in your art. I can see those kalo leaves with the word kuleana going around it. You can put it in a rainbow. You can combine word art with other kinds of other art, and you can come up with one that you can share on Friday. And share, you're gonna do a lot. Share the one you like the best would be great. So you just know you don't have to share them all unless you just really like all of them. And we talked about collaging, and if you can't do it with your camera, do it like the old-fashioned way. Cut them out, glue them all on one paper, and then you can show a collage that way. And you can do that. So today we're going to really read and talk about 2 stories. And then I'm going to share with you how to make a 3-sister salad. So that's going to be done today. And then, of course, a lot of more art ideas for you to kind of experiment with about the stories so that you can read the stories. We're going to look at a video today to prepare you for our speakers tomorrow, and the ones that go on canoe journey and the Gurko family. So we want to be a little bit more prepared for them. So when they say, are there any questions, I hope everybody has at least something that they wonder about for tomorrow. And then we've been sharing sketches that we can share even more at the end if we have time, okay? So remember, sketch, doodle, paint. Saw some painting, saw some doodling, write, see some writing, write 1 word, 2 words, think about the stories and reflect about the stories. So is everybody ready to get going? Give me a big thumbs up. I can just see some of you, so good. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first story we're going to look at has to do with being respectful and doing what's right, kuleana, and is how Maui slowed the sun. Now, last year at another camp that I worked at, this was the feature story, and this was the feature artwork. And I saw this artwork somewhere online, and I thought, oh my God, that goes with the story, how Maui slowed the sun. And you can see I used tempera paint, and with your finger, show me what shape you have to know in order to do this artwork. It's just a circle. It's just circles and circles and circles and circles. Now, another lesson that we have is that the blue is a cool color. The orange, the red, the yellows are the warm colors. So it's also an art lesson of cool with warm colors, and it really makes for a real stunning art piece. So when we go through the story, you're going to understand this a little bit better. So you have the sun, and then in the middle, you have these little brown dots going around, and maybe you can see those brown dots. And then you can see some white dots. And artists use dots and white dots to get you to think about movement. So maybe with those dots going around, you can see it's a hot sun just burning and moving and has some movement. And at the bottom is a figure. We cut out a paper and a little malo there. I had some Hawaiian printed paper, and they cut out their malos and they put him on, and he has his hands up like that. And you can see a real tiny little blue, brown dots right up by his, his right hand, and it kind of goes around in that circle. And so you'll figure out what that is when you read the story. So I'm not going to read the whole thing because you don't want to hear my voice. Wah, wah, wah. I'll get it started, and then people can just raise your hand, or just, I don't see all of you. You can just unmute and just say, I'm ready, and then we'll just let you read paragraphs because I separated them. Okay?
Auntie, is it okay if people, like, everyone knows where the raise hand button is? If everyone goes to participants and clicks the raise hand button, then they'll pop up.
Right.
And then we can have you guys read that.
How can I see I cannot see. How do I see everybody? Because I just see about 4.
So if you click, Auntie, if you click so you know the one with the videos with everyone's faces? You have the one that shows like your face at least?
Right.
Yeah, so if you click that and then you click the one that's like gallery view, the one with all the boxes.
Yeah.
You can like click through there's like an arrow you can click through and see everybody.
Oh.
Do you see everybody now?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay.
Okay, got it. Yay, I learned something new.
Okay, so if you guys want to just raise your hand, Auntie Louise can see everybody now. She can scroll through and see if anybody's raising their hand.
Okay, all right. Or you can just turn it on and just start reading and we'll figure it out. Okay. How Maui slowed the sun, I'll start it off. In the days of old Hawaii, when legends gave shape to the land and life throughout these islands. I love that first phrase. There was a demigod by the name of Maui who accomplished amazing feats throughout Polynesia. There are many stories of Maui and his accomplishments. This story of Maui is about his love for his mother. Go ahead, Kina.
Hina, mother of Maui, was famous throughout Hawaii with her fine kapa cloth made from the bark of vauke and mamake trees. She lived on Hawaii's islands behind a waterfall called Waianuenue, Rainbow Falls.
Next one. Who else wants to read?
I think that Kim Sears wanted to read.
All right, go ahead.
Hina worked very on her kapa and hung them out to dry. In these times, Kala, the sun, would travel across the sky very fast, leaving the people and Hina with short days.
Okay, Keizo.
One day, Maui noticed how hard it was for his mother to complete her kapa because Kala wasn't out long enough to dry the cloth.
Okay, next slide. Who would like to go next? Anybody?
Naomi? Go ahead, Naomi.
Maui became mad and was determined to make Kala slow down. Maui had headed to Hamakualoa on the east side of the island of Maui, where he observed Kala traveling to Haleakala. He then went to a place called Pailoko, where he found a ni'u coconut grove and took the husk of ni'u to make kaula rope.
Next. It's a short one. Okay, Cordelia, you want to do it again? Go ahead, no problem.
So Maui went back to the top of,
Haleakala.
At night. He set snares and then hid behind a rock. As Kala rose and started to climb over the rocks, he began getting caught in the snares one by one and became trapped.
Next, anybody? Okay, Angelina, sure.
Maui then revealed himself and said, Kala, I am Maui, son of Hina. Each day my mother works diligently on her kapa, and you never slow down enough for her kapa to dry. Because of this, I will make you travel slower.
Kala laughed and said, I am Kala. I regulate your food and your seasons. Therefore, you cannot stop me. Who would like to go next? Okay. Kamalani, go ahead.
Maui took a club and started. Hāloa screamed in pain and told Maui he would make a deal with him.
Half the year, he would travel slowly to help people grow food, fish, and hunt, which actually are the summer months. When he traveled slowly, Hina could dry her kapa. The other half of the year, he would travel as fast as he pleased, moving fast through the sky. Because of their agreement, the mountain is referred to as Alehe Kala, to snare the sun. The end. Okay, let's see everybody. Okay. So what do you think about the story? What do you think about it as connecting to and a kuleana and being respectful and doing what's right? What part of the story did you hear or did you sense that he was trying to do something right, especially Maui? Anybody just want to say that? Go ahead, Kina.
I thought that it was right that he had a reason to snare the sun instead of just like snaring it out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody, thumbs up to Kina. All right, good answer, good answer. All right, anybody, next. Where did he try to show some responsibility in kuleana? Anybody? Kamalani? What did he do? No? You're scratching your chin instead.
Because without Maui stopping Kala from moving so fast, his people was able to, you know, catch more fish, grow more food, and hunt. And his mom was able to dry her kapa, make more for the community. Yep, for the community.
Absolutely. It was he felt he was doing what was right, and I think he even felt it was his responsibility to do it. Why could Maui do it and nobody else could? Noelani?
Because he's a demigod.
He's a demigod. Yeah, you saw the movie Moana. He does all kinds of stuff. Yeah, you know, and he's not a full god. He's just a demigod. You know, he doesn't have those big powers, but he actually had his strength, and he had the knowledge of things like clubs and knives and snares and rope. You know, he's a fun character to hear about. Okay, so Maui, how he tried. There are many, many Maui stories. Moana is not necessarily a Maui story. It might be a little bit of his, little bit here and there and there and here, but there are great Maui stories. I think you're going to learn more of them throughout this class. So, okay, Auntie Steffi, next one. Okay, so now, of course, we could not go past this story without talking about using the sun as some of your main characters. I call it sun art. You can call it anything you want. Some of my advice to you when you're doing something like this is using your pencil for your shapes and penciling in your design. This design is more of a Maori design, but you can create your own design for the face because this guy is pretty fierce, right? Because he did not want to be snared. He wanted to fly through the sky, and he wanted to do everything. Kala wanted to do everything that he wanted to do. And so this one was actually painted and then cut out. And then at first you might think those are braids coming out of his head, but really, what are those according to the story? Go ahead, Mia or Noelani.
Chains?
That's the what? The chains? Yeah, the snare. Their word was snare. And when you snare something, you catch it. And in this case, Maui was using rope in order to catch it. You can use your Sharpie for details too if you want to. You can see the painting. The other painting was done by a younger child, but you know, it looks pretty cool. And they use dots. They use polka dots in their artwork, and they used a thicker paint, but the dots really make it look kind of cool. And down at the bottom, you can see different kinds of faces that you can use. That Maui, and right there actually goes with the story more, but these are clay suns, and they're painted, and you can see they're happier. They got rosy cheeks. They're very colorful, and you can do that with drawings, or you could cut out paper. You can put it on a paper plate. You can do anything with that circle. Okay, let's go to the next slide. The story also talked very important about kapa. And so at this camp we did, we couldn't pound out our paper bags. We got into some problems. So we did the next thing was to use a paper bag to kind of look like a kapa. And so if you have a paper bag, and if you cut it into a square, cutting your paper into a square, you have a better, what can I say? It's easier to make designs and make things kind of match a little bit. And so you can see, you take a paper bag and you cut it, and you can scrim it up like this, and then you can spread it out and make it look kind of like it's real. And with pencil, you can pencil in your design. And the one you see under the word kapa art, yeah, Keizo, those are really fun when you do this, is of course an older child, and up in the upper right hand corner you see a younger child is working on theirs, and you probably need a Sharpie to kind of do all the lines, and the crayon, and we use black, white, and brown crayon only to kind of fill in your design in places that you wanted to fill it in. And then we took watercolor brown paint, made it really watery, and then we painted it over it, and it made a real nice effect. So there's a video there, but we're not going to watch it. It's about a woman who's actually, maybe, do we have time? I see. Oh, yeah, no. It's a great one about how to make a kapa, and she makes it, and she makes clothes, and she sells them, and she makes all kinds of things, and you can take a look at what you can do with kapa. Okay, any of these ideas you kind of think are kind of cool, you might want to try? Anybody just want to unmute yourself? Just say it. Nicholas, go ahead. Anything you might want to try?
I just raised my hand, but I think I would want to try like make the kapa.
Yeah. Takes
I want to pound it though.
Takes a little bit of planning. You got to gather your materials. Okay, Noelani or Mia, did you have your hand up?
I would probably want to just like do some artwork with like the sun and draw different designs within it.
Okay, let's go ahead and watch it. You got it? Let's do it.
Nerds. To all the people questioning right now, questioning, is now a good time for...
Kapa is the ancient traditional fabric of Native Hawaiians. It was used for all of their clothing, bedding, blankets, anything you would use fabric for. So right now I'm just making this into a nice solid piece to work with. But eventually the practice was almost completely lost.
Aloha, P. Aloha. Oh my goodness, welcome. I was eyeing up your jewelry. So beautiful.
Thank you.
How did you actually get started in this?
So I've been an artist my whole life. And 5 years ago, I found my kumu kapa. And the material itself is amazing. The fiber is incredible. So I fell in love with Welke, the tree that kapa is made from.
Now, not only do you make these products, but you're also an educator.
Educational part is probably the most important to me. I work right here in Waimanalo in 3 schools. We built 3 mala, 3 gardens, planted the Welke, planted all of the dye plants. Making kapa is very much about the aina. So that will become, who knows what? Managing your resources and really cherishing our native natural resources. So through the practice, you learn amazing stuff. Once I harvest a tree, I have to scrape the outer bark, remove the bast, the inner bark, and then I take that piece of mo'o and I pound it with a tool called a Hōnua. soften it. Then that gets fermented in water. The rest of Polynesia doesn't include that stuff. That makes it ultimately Hawaiian. And I pound it into a sheet of fabric.
So pretty.
Yeah.
Just in its natural form. It kind of takes you back to the old days.
Exactly. Right? I grow most of my dye. Everything is just 100% natural. I'll dye the piece and then I'll print it and then it will kind of tell me what it's going to be turned into. I do jewelry. I do earrings, bracelets. I just started doing little bags, but I also do fine artwork, so a whole lot of stuff. Here's one of the bracelets. You want to try it on? Oh, I would love to.
Wow.
Oh, that looks pretty on you.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And then earrings. Do you like that one?
I love that.
You want to try it?
Oh, okay.
And this is done with a banana stump that makes the print. So I print with ohe kapala, which are bamboo stamps. Oh, that looks so nice.
I love it.
Made in Hawaii. When you are making something locally, you really connect to your aina, to your land, but to your community, because you understand what your resources are. You understand how valuable things are. You understand how valuable the people are in your community, who you're working for, who you're presenting these pieces to. To be able to showcase it at this festival it's kind of a big deal for me, but I'm really, really excited. I'm really glad to be included.
Brought to you by the Made in Hawaii.
Yeah, I think what a job. Some of you might think that'd be a great job to do, but a lot of hard work, isn't it? You have to grow the trees and harvest them and make the kapa and get it to dry. So anybody have any comment about that video? Go ahead, Kina.
She does the same thing as Aunty Lehua.
Mm-hmm. Right, because what does Aunty Lehua do? She does all that, right? But does Aunty Lehua always use Vulke? Like, does she always use, like, the stuff from Hawaii? No, right? Sometimes she has to use the stuff from here because this is where she lives, right? For this other person, right, she's able to do it with all the native stuff because she's from there, right? Sure, she lives in Hawaii. So, but yeah, it looked pretty similar, right? It was pretty much the same process.
Yeah, kind of a fun job. Gee, you could wake up and just go in your backyard and pound a bunch of stuff. That it sounds like a good deal. Good deal. Okay.
I know.
Just have a comment about it.
So what else could you guys put on your kapa art? What did you notice Aunty Lehua and this video, right? What do they do? What do they put on their kapa? They make their kapa, but what goes on top of it?
The stamp.
The stamp, which is called what in Hawaiian?
Ohe kapala.
The ohe kapala, right? You guys could put your own, right? Everyone made their own ohe kapala. I'll put your own ohe kapala.
The natural dye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you made natural dye, Auntie Louise? Have you done that before?
Natural dye on kapa?
Or just in general, like have you made natural dye before?
Well, I only use tea. If you have tea at home, you can, if you brew the tea with a lot of tea bags, you make it dark. And then if you brew the tea with several tea bags, you make it light. And then you can use a fabric called muslin. I've done it with muslin before. I think Keizo and we did it at a picnic. And Naomi, we did some scarves, but we used other kinds of wild things. If you still have it, Keizo, you can go find it and bring it out. So we did that last summer too. So anyway. Okay, so let's go on to the next story. So that was Maui, his kuleana. He did what was right, and he slowed down the sun for his mom. And now we're gonna go to another part of the country. Actually, we're gonna come here back to the mainland, and we're gonna have a Native American story. Now, I want to tell you that this story does not come from Oregon, the Oregon area. It comes from the area out in the East Coast around New York, Pennsylvania, up in that part of the country. And that's where this story comes from. So we're going to do the same thing. The best part is that none of this has any Hawaiian words. It's all English words. So it's a little bit easier to read. And if I can have the older kids read, and we can kind of, make it go kind of fast. So we can have, we can get through the story and get on and looking at the artwork and start talking about that. So this story is called The Three Sisters. Okay, and I'll start off. The Three Sisters. The first man and woman created by the Great Spirit were happy with their lives on the newly formed earth. However, They discovered that they were hungry and could not find anything to eat. So the woman cried out to the Great Spirit, "Oh, Great Spirit, we are hungry and cannot find any food. Please help us." Any other volunteer? Go ahead. Okay, Mema, go ahead. The man noticed.
The man noticed the mound of soil they were standing near. 3 women rose out of the soil as if they grew there. The man and woman watched and listened to the mysterious woman.
Next one. Go ahead, Nicholas.
The tallest and oldest woman had silk string for hair. The beads of her dress were golden yellow, and she wrapped herself in green leafy coat. Wait, the black looking rain. She said to them, "Greetings. I am Sister Corn. Eat what I grow for you, and you will stand strong."
Okay.
Go ahead, Sophia.
Sorry, on my screen the words are super blurry. Can you come back to me in a little bit?
Sure. Okay, Angelina. Okay. Oh, we're getting blacked out. There we go.
Sorry.
Second one.
Oh, the second woman was much smaller and thinner. With her beaded jewelry dangling, she held on to Sister Corn's place in order to stand up. "I am Sister Bean. Sister Corn helps me stand up to see the sun. My feet will keep the soil healthy. Eat what I grow for you, and you won't be hungry."
Excellent. Who wants to read about the third woman? Okay, Keizo.
The third woman lay on the ground. She was rounder than the other 2 women, and she had an orange dress. Her big leafy hair covered the ground around Sister Corn and Sister Bean's feet. "I'm Sister Squash. My leafy hair protects my sister's feet from weeds, and I grow for you and share us with your children."
Okay, next slide continues the story. The man and the woman were delighted to get this help from the Great Spirit that had sent to them. The man asked, "What are we to do when your fruits have all been picked?" Okay, Augie, go ahead.
Sister Corn replied, "Give thanks to us when you give our fruit. Oh, when you pick our fruit. Give thanks to us when you plant our seeds in the soil mound again. Take care of us as we return to you."
Okay, thank you, Augie. Chloe, can I get you to read the next paragraph, okay?
Here, I need to move. Sorry, I need to move the thing. The 3 sisters, Corn, Bean, and Squash, changed from their human forms into healthy green plants. Sister Corn's stalk was tall and strong. Sister Bean's vines wrapped around that stalk. Sister Squash's big leaves covered the ground.
So the man and woman did what the sisters told them to do. At every planting and harvest, the man, woman, and their children gave thanks to the 3 sisters and the Great Spirit. They celebrated the first signs of plants growing. They took joy in caring for the plants, and they celebrated the harvesting of their fruits for ages to come. The end. Don't leave this slide yet, Auntie Stephanie. Let's look over at the drawing there, because that kind of explains how actually the native people grow their crop like this. They have corn in the middle. You can see where it says corn. And then they grow beans around the corn, and the beans wind up around of the corn, and they use it almost like a stake. And then they put squash on the mound. They make this mound, and they put squash seeds around that, and the squash grows, and with their big leaves, it protects the soil from getting overheated, protects it from heat, protects it from bugs, and also keeps the soil moist. And so the science word for that, yeah, okay, so You probably read about that in school. It's called companion planting. And the native people here on the mainland did a lot of planting this way. And I did this one summer. Yeah, it did work. It worked. The beans grew up the corn, and then the squirrels got in the corn and ate the corn. So I was very, very mad. So back in those days, that's what the children's job was to chase the birds and the squirrels out of the garden so they wouldn't eat the corn. So that would have been your job all summer long. You'd have to take turns out there chasing all the animals away. Well, to better understand, everyone knows how corn grows, but the squash idea, in this case, it was a pumpkin. They don't understand about the leaf thing. And I happen to be growing some squash and some pumpkin and some zucchini. And maybe if I can, I cut some of the leaves because they are really, really big, and you can see how they would shade the beans and the corn. So, oops. So here, you can see just how big this leaf is. And there's my head right next to it. Putting over my head, over my face. And it is really, really, and this is kind of a small one. I wanted to pick one that wasn't going to get in the way of harvesting the zucchini. And if some of you like zucchini, that's what's going to go in the salad today, is the zucchini. So the other one is a pumpkin. And I'm growing two kinds of pumpkin. I'm going to make some pumpkin pie. So I have pie pumpkin, and then I have giant pumpkin. This is from the pie pumpkin. And the pie pumpkin is going to only be about like maybe like a little older than a soccer ball. And this is the leaf that goes with that. The giant pumpkin that I'm growing, I'm going to give to some of the little kids in the neighborhood, some giant pumpkins in October. But this is the leaf. And you can see, you know, it shades everybody. It shades the ground. It keeps the weeds out. The weeds aren't under the leaves in our garden. The leaves are all around where these leaves are not growing. So you can see why the native people saw that these kind of looks like a kalo leaf, doesn't it? Kinda. It's kind of in the shape of a heart. And that is why they use the squash for their in their gardens. So let's go back to that slide there, Aunty Steffi. Okay, there's a little video there to see, and I think there's a little scientist going to be talking about the three sisters.
Sorry, it's on a different tab, so I gotta reshare.
Oh, okay.
I took your advice, Auntie Louise.
Oh.
About making sure that, you know, the things are already set.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Ba-da-da.
Do you know why some American Indian nations call corn, beans, and squash the three sisters? It's because when you plant them next to each other in a garden, they help each other grow. These three crops have been a major part of American Indian agriculture for a long time. The reason they help each other is because beans have to grow off the ground. They use the corn to get up into the air. Meanwhile, the beans help the corn and the squash because they take nitrogen from the air and put it into the soil. The squash helps because its big prickly leaves keep pests away and provide some shade that stops weeds from growing. Corn, beans, and squash are a great combo to plant in a school garden. You can plant them during May and then include them in the harvest in the early part of the next school year. There are tons of ways to enjoy corn, beans, or squash. Or if you want to eat them all at the same time, try them in a tasty salad. And don't forget, it's okay to try just one bite.
Okay, now there's some videos that you can look at on your own that aren't a little cartoon. It's a little bit more of people showing actual gardens and the three sisters garden growing. And you can try it. You only need is one corn, and you need some beans and some squash, and you can create that. And you can, somebody said, I only eat pumpkin pie. Yeah, me too. Me too. But hey, that's okay. All right. So one thing I think everyone about during the fall, you can go to the grocery store and you'll see some beautiful, beautiful colored corn. They call it Indian corn. And A long time ago, most of the native people ate this color corn, and not, we're used to eating the yellow corn, right? Just the yellow, and they ate a lot of, yeah, very pretty corn. And sometimes when things are colorful, do you think it's more nutritious or not more nutritious? Yeah, if it has a color in it, it probably is a little bit more nutritious. But I will tell you that if you get these in the grocery store, these are, the variety they grow are not good eating ones. You'd have to grow them in your garden to get some good eating ones. These are grown special so that they will dry, and then you can hang them on your door or whatever you want to do, put it on your table for decoration. It's kind of too bad because you don't want to waste food. You want to eat it. So let's go over to looking at corn art, and if you like watercolor, the watercolor, you watercolor it first. If you can imagine the first one, that person did all the watercoloring and did their pencil. I should have said that. You do your pencil, what out shape of your corn and the corn silk leaves, and then they used crayon and they kind of added on there, and then they took their watercolor and kind of swirled it all around. And then when it dried, then they got that Sharpie, is the best art tool ever, and got the Sharpie and then drew all what the kernels, and they created a corn. Now the other one was that this one started where everything was painted in black. So they painted the corn shape in black, and they painted the leaves in black, and they let it dry. And then they would take the colors and then they would put it on top of the black. And when you take color and you put it on top of black paint, it is amazing. And this is also cool and warm colors. So this time the corn is cool and the background is warm. And the other painting, the background, the sky was cool, and of course the sun was warm. And you could actually flip it around and make the corn warm and make the background cool. So you're working with warm and cool colors. So you can add those details. It is quite stunning. So I hope someone tries this. The paint, the black corn is done with tempera paint. So if you have tempera paint at home, that would be the best paint to use. The other one, probably you would have to use watercolor. Any questions on this kind of art before some of you might want to do it and you have a question about it? No? So how many of you would like to try the watercolor corn, if you could? Or how many of you want to try the black corn, if you could? You don't have, you've got some time. Let me tell you, you can work on this all the way to the end of your camp. And I know Auntie Steffi and Auntie Lay would say, we'll take your drawings even at the end. So you can continue to work on your drawings and your artwork. So, okay, go to the next one, please. So now we get to how to make a three-sister salad. And I think a lot of you know that corn, beans, and squash. And in this case, we're going to use a zucchini. And a zucchini is a kind of squash. Now, I don't like raw zucchini. I prefer cooking zucchini or eating it in a spaghetti or putting it in a lasagna. But so I cut the zucchini up really, really small, so I don't have to really taste it. So I'm just going to have a little demonstration so you can see it's really kind of easy. If you might have all of these ingredients in your house and you can just whip one up tonight with your salad. So, so I got here. Can everybody see everybody can see the green? Thumbs up so I can see you. Can you hear me okay?
Can you bring your camera, is it possible to tilt your camera down just a little bit, Auntie, so we can see inside the bowl? There we go, perfect. Thank you. Okay, even before you get started, and I was talking about tea, you can fill up a jar with water. I think everyone has done this before. It's an old pickle jar, and throw your tea bags in, put the lid on, and what do you do with the tea? Anybody know? Oh, you can shake it up, you can. Anybody want to say, what am I going to do with this tea?
Use it as a dye or use it as like a coloring?
Yeah, you can use it for coloring. I'm going to take it outside after this and I'm going to put it in the sun and let the sun do the work so I don't have to even turn on any, can do some, save some electricity. And I already have a jar out there, so I'm going to have 2 jars of tea. But you can use it for your dye if you want to. And you can have it in a jar, and you can tell someone, don't drink this. This is my artwork. Somebody might drink it accidentally. Okay, the zucchini came from my garden, and you can see that there's 2 kinds. There's one that's striped. I had no idea it was going to be striped when we bought the plant. And of course, one that everyone sees is long like this. And for this salad, I only use like this much because I'm not a real fan of raw zucchini. I like cooked zucchini, which I'm going to cook all of these. And they are growing like wild. So if you would like some zucchini, please let me know and I'll be happy to get you some, okay? So looking around your house, look for a can of kidney beans. You might have a can of those, which I kind of rinsed out, and then a can of corn. Now, and then Auntie Louise had the wrong kind of corn. I thought it was regular corn, but if you can see, it was cream corn, and you don't want to put cream corn in your salad. Blah. So I thought, what am I going to do? So I looked in the freezer, and some of you might have a bag of frozen sweet corn, and you can use a bag of frozen sweet corn too. I just let it thaw out, and I'm going to throw it into the salad. So you got your corn, you got your beans, and then I cut up the zucchini, and I'll show it to you. I'll come closer, and you can see I cut it up really, 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 really small. I could have even cut it up a little smaller so I wouldn't even taste it. Okay. So this is what's so easy about this. You take the zucchini, you just throw it in the bowl. And here's the bowl of beans. How many of you had these kind of beans before? In your chili? And if you don't have to use them all, you can use half of them, but 1 can of beans. And then of course I cook the corn. And then I put some corn here, and now I'm ready to mix it up. And I didn't get a spoon. I'm not going to use my hand because that's gross. So what you do, you just take it, of course, and you just stir it up like you might have seen in the picture there. Stir it up. There you go. And then you actually have a three sister salad, and you can add to your lettuce. Let me go get the dressing that I made. So if you ever want to make dressing, you just save these jars here. And in here I have some vinegar. We talked about vinegar yesterday. I have some vinegar, and I have some sugar, and then I actually put some tablespoons of blueberry sauce. And so now I have blueberry dressing. Shake it up, and you can pour it over your salad, and then you can make a salad for tomorrow. Tomorrow I have some good ideas. So tomorrow I'm going to actually take this salad and even make a different salad with it. So I'm going to share that tomorrow with you, my ideas, because I've got all kinds of goodies to go with it. So cooking is not something that's really hard. You can, it is kind of fun and kind of easy to do. And and it has a story behind it. I mean, what more can you want, right? I'm making a salad. Oh, that's good. I'm making a salad from a story. And that's something that you can share with your parents. So if you want an idea to try something a little bit new, I'm going to put it together with a different salad tomorrow to share with you. So that's how you make a three-sister salad. I think I'm going to start a show. Anyway, no, just kidding. Okay, go to the next slide.
Auntie Louise cooking show.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to come up with something else.
Auntie Lay, can I have sharing privileges back, please?
Auntie Louise Master Chef cooking class.
Oh, well, thank you.
Come on, if you click the share screen, click the little arrow and just put multiple participants can share at a time. Just click the little arrow. Just kidding. He has to take it back to Auntie Lay.
Oh, spotlight video. I like it. I can't can't wait to try this dressing. The kind of cooking show I want to do is just open up the fridge and see what's in there and try and throw it together and see if it tastes good. Like cook it.
That's my favorite kind, Auntie Louise. I do that to the kids all the time.
Just open and see what we got. So and then make it out. Mr. Wilmes thinks I'm well, anyway. What does he know? Yeah, what does he know? So so I'm ending it with well, not ending. I'm ending another art piece, and I know a lot of you might like to paint rocks. You have to have a special kind of paint with it. You need the acrylic paint if you want to do a rock painting. And yeah, Kina, you're right. It tastes good anyway. With enough salad dressing on anything, it tastes good. But I would say choose Hawaiian words to put on your rocks. You can use use pens or some different kinds of markers. I always like to paint the rocks first because then you can use Sharpies on it and you can make some design. So you can use rocks and you can make some art. Okay, next slide. So before we go, I want us to have do some looking at some pictures here. And I want to now change from the salad and the food and all this stuff to our speakers that are coming tomorrow. And they are going to be sharing with them exactly what the pictures that you're seeing right here. And they're going to be talking with us about their experience. And it's kids, it's the kids doing it and not the parents. You can see some children in the picture up in the right-hand corner. There are a lot of young people in these amazing looking canoes as they are on something called Canoe Journey. And that's what you're going to be hearing from our speakers tomorrow. So taking a look at these pictures, anybody want to just kind of talk about what you see that you think is kind of interesting, cool, or Amema?
The canoes, they also have printing, or probably it's one of their ancestors from a long time ago, or a goddess. And then the people, they're wearing, on the right picture, they're wearing certain clothing, probably for a respect purpose.
Absolutely. These, if the picture on the left of the gentleman or that canoe goer, they're just, going down the canoe on the journey. But the people on the right are coming to shore. They're making their journey and now they're coming to shore. And before they can go on anybody else's land, and Mama's right, they have to have some more ceremony clothes and they have to ask for permission. May I come to shore? And they're asking for the people who actually are from that area if they can come onto the shore. Would anybody else like to comment? Nicholas, go ahead.
I thought the flags are interesting, like the flag. Like on the left, it's white. Like on the left picture, the other one, there's like a mix of like colors, like white and like I don't know what it's called, but
right. It's the colors of their tribe or the colors of their club, and that could be a question you can ask the young people tomorrow about if they had a flag with their canoe and what did it look like, and you can see the children are wearing life vests, but not the adults. Grr. The adults should be wearing a life vest too, because it could be very dangerous out on the river. And how do they, like any canoe, they need to use, of course, paddles. And they have some beautiful paddles. They have simple paddles. That's another question you can ask, because I know this family has paddles that hopefully they'll share with you. And you can ask them, do you have any really cool paddles? And I'm sure they will be happy to share them with you. Anybody want to talk about the interesting shaped hats that you see there? Anybody wondering about anything? Go ahead, anybody.
I was curious,
yeah,
like about like the clothing though, like this is all like from like an animal, right? Like,
some are animals. That black and the red that you see is a long time ago when settlers came here to this part of the country, Washington and Oregon, they brought with them blankets. And so the women, of course, it's the women that did the sewing. They said, "Ooh, cool blankets. I'm going to make it into a a cape, and they would cut the blankets up and they would sew them together. And what do you think those white things are going around the cape?
Like the fur or?
Kind of furry and buttons. They love the buttons. And so now those are called button blankets. Ta-da, button blankets, because it's got buttons on it. And they use it to as a ceremony, like Mama said, it's a ceremony clothes. They don't wear it all the time, but it's ceremony. Yeah.
But, and I have one more like question or something. It's like this might be a little off topic, but like, why did the Hawaiians not use like animal skins, but they used kapa, or they use like part of a tree? Like, that was just one of the questions I had.
Right, that's good to wonder.
Aunty Lei said that they never had animals to do that.
Wait, say it again.
Aunty Lei said that they never had animals back then to do that.
Only vegetables.
Every animal they had back in those days, they ate it, right? And they probably didn't have as much fur.
So they weren't really domesticated yet, like, you know.
Remember, cows came about in the 1800s, right? Where they had.
She said that the animals weren't as big to make clothing.
I see.
Like rats.
And we valued the cows.
And they valued the cows.
Yeah.
Valued the cow, yes. The cows cause such damage. Okay, I'm gonna have Auntie Steffi take a look at the video because it's really beautiful. You know, we always love Hawaii, but I think if you see this scenery, you can get an idea of what this family went through, and you can see what they're going through, and ask them to talk about the beautiful scenery they saw. Here we go.
Inchiwanapum means the big river people. The big river is the Columbia River, and there's many tribes along that river. Ishan Matavino. My name is Colleen Johnson. That's my English name. My Indian name is Pīʻahuarau. That means Mother Bear.
Canoe journey is about healing. Canoe journey is about purity, working together, and it's about testing your abilities of your body, your heart, mind, and spirit, which we call our Wawanakshsh Wakishwit Kutumna.
Each summer, canoe families from dozens of tribes in the western U.S. and Canada follow their ancestors to paddle their traditional waterways. I had the great privilege of paddling down the Columbia River with members of the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs. That's the Warm Springs, Wasco, and Paiute people, now based in Central Oregon.
We are in Chiwanapum. We are in Chiwanapum. We are in Chiwanapum.
Praying for the people, praying for the water, praying for the animals, praying for everything. When I tell them to pull hard, that means I want them to pray hard.
Ultimately, it's understanding that you have a spirit, you have a light, you are constantly trying to nourish that light and that energy by feeding it the songs, the language, the stories, the dances.
Every time they get on the water, that's what I tell them. Pull hard. Think of your grandma. Think of your uncles. Think of the salmon. They say, okay, grandma, we will. It's hard, but it's fun, and it's just awesome.
Now, the Columbia River, the Indian name, and a lot of people probably don't know it, is called Nichiwana. Can you say that? Nichiwana. Nichiwana is what the native people call the river, the Nichiwana. So they would call it Nichiwanapum. It's actually the name of their club, the Nichiwanapum. Okay, All right, let's go back to everybody.
I think we are at everybody.
Okay, we got a spotlight on us, why I see.
Oh, here, let's see.
Do I need to do something?
Oh, no.
It's on my end. It's on my end. Sorry.
Okay.
That's my end. Okay. All right. So that ends for today. I don't know what Auntie Lay and Auntie Steffi have left for you. Maybe check in on your work that you've been turning in, and they're going to shoot me some of your exit tickets so I can see them. And maybe you don't want me to see them, because then I'll have to ask you about them. Yeah. Don't show Auntie Louise our work.
Auntie Louise, so if they are able to make a salad tomorrow, oh, nice artwork, Keizo. Is that your cuppa from the time you made it?
Oh, let me see, Keizo. Oh yeah, we did. We did some paper and we did some cloth.
That's cool.
We had Ohe Kapala. Somebody got us some really nice ones. So
God. That's awesome. Would you like them if they're able to bring their salads tomorrow? Would you like them?
I'll bring mine. I'm gonna set a place at the table. Tomorrow. It's gonna be coming from the dining room table.
It'll be our potluck that we eat by ourselves.
So I'm gonna bring my salad and go sit at the table, and then we can you can bring it, you can eat it, you can share a recipe. And even if you like a Panera salad, because they put, how many of you like Panera salads? I do. They got strawberries, they got all kinds of good stuff on there, and I want to make a salad here. So I can't wait to see the salads. We're going to probably start off talking a little bit, maybe doing some art sharing and getting ready for our speaker. I always like for us to get ready for a speaker so we're prepared. We're not, yeah. And they're
what time are our guest speakers coming?
Tomorrow, the Gurkhos.
Yeah, no, what time?
Do we start at 1 tomorrow?
We were going to start at 1:30, but we can start at 1. Starting at 1 is totally fine.
Okay, you guys call the shots. 1 be great. They're coming on at 1:30.
Okay, then yeah, let's do 1 o'clock, and then we can prep and get everyone ready, and then when they get here at 1:30, we'll be ready to go. Does that sound good?
I'll do about a half hour, and then we'll go at 2 o'clock and do more sharing and get it all, get it all done. So you can be done tomorrow, Friday. Yay, Friday.
Micah, do you have a question?
So tomorrow, do we bring the salads cooked or just the recipe?
Up to you.
If you want to make it, make it. If you just have your recipe, that's fine too.
Just talk, and I like this kind of a salad. That's fine too. Yeah. Nicholas?
Wait, sorry, wait. So wait, we meet at 1:30 or do we meet before 1:30? Because that kind of was a little confusing.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
We will be here at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Normally it's 1:30, but because our guest speakers are coming at 1:30, we're gonna prep and do a little bit of introduction stuff at 1 o'clock and some before they get here. And anybody else before we let Auntie Louise go? Awesome. Thank you so much, Auntie Louise.
Signing out from the kitchen, everyone. Aloha.
Go endorse your cooking show.
Let's advertise.
Okay. All right.
Are we going into break rooms?
We can.